Marlo.
Hello, Victor. How you doing?
Good, how are you? So you're moving on again.
Same team, different company.
Okay,
We
interesting.
we, we got aqua hired, I guess is the term.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Well, I'm not sure how many people will be here. I'll be have to drop for at uh 12 Eastern, half an hour.
Okay. Yeah. I think we'll wait until 5 after to give some people time to join, and we'll start then. If not enough people show up, I'll just put the links in there and everyone can work asynchronously. It sounded like Abhishek was going to try to make it.
Roger's here.
Hello, Rajas.
Hey, hi folks.
Do you know if most of the people you've spoken with, Rajas, want to work on this asynchronously, or are they planning to attend?
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hello.
we're going to wait until 5 after and then get started, just so
Okay.
people have a moment to join. Because a lot of companies have that 5 minute thing, which means all meetings end up 5 minutes over.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
Okay, we're at 5 after. Um, I'll show my face like a human. All right, this is the first meeting of these that I guess Rajas and I are are running. Rajesh, do you have anything? Hello. Do you have anything you want to say before we get started?
No, I think this was long due, and we wanted to start it, I think, last November, but because of a bunch of scheduling and calendar snafus, here we are. But yeah, just to set the context, TOC reached out to us and wanted the TAG Workloads Foundation to drive this white paper to conclusion. This has been out there for quite some time now, and I think we needed a focused effort to just um, go through the current state of it, revamp it, figure out which areas need improvement, which areas need to be discussed over, debated over, and then once we have like a plan ready, probably a weekly check-in. That's how this meeting is set up as of now. We can, yeah, we can like then work out to like publish this white paper, but like the main goal is to get consensus in the community first. So yeah, that's the plan. And thanks, Marlo, for helping us out over here as well. Um, yeah, do you have anything to share?
Okay, so we have two papers. One of them is the old draft. Um, sorry, that's the new one that I just pasted, I think. Uh, yeah, that's the new one. So there's the new one, the old one. If you click on the new one, please ask for access and I'll immediately share it. I couldn't figure out how to open it just to the general world because it was started in Soft. They have a technical writer who went ahead and did some cleaning and moved some stuff over. So now we and put together a basic structure so we can go through the structure if we want to decide if that's what we would like to see, or we can go ahead and write asynchronously. Um, I would like everyone here to say what their goals are for this paper, if any, other than just to write it. Um, and I can start. Firstly, I would like to make sure that we have a clear uh, roadmap as to what scheduling should look like as far as scheduling for cloud native AI, which really is distributed scheduling. Some technology is currently available in Kubernetes, some is not. So, there's still projects to try to get some of the capabilities in there and try to figure out what the gaps are. Um, Rajas, do you want to go next? And then you name the next person.
Yeah, I think apart from the gaps, I also want to, and I echo what you said, Marlo, but I also want to add that we should have the challenges chalked out, I guess, and I think that was incomplete in the first draft, and the best practices that we would recommend. So that those would be like some of the goals that I would call out. Um, Victor, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I have participated in the original paper a little bit. I'm a generalist, so um, trying to find new things is what I'm interested in. Also, it's fun for me. So I have already talked to Marlo as well as Alex, who hosts the backtracking group about possibly have more closer collaboration between the hardware ecosystem, in this case, OCP, Open Compute Foundation, and CNCF. So yeah, so I hope to write something about it and actually bring some the discussion between the two communities and see what are the solutions on hardware side possibly, as well as what's the problem from this side that can be solved using the solution that's available there.
Do you want to pick on someone?
I can go next. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Yang. I'm an open source developer working at Red Hat. And regarding the AI workload scheduling, I'm more interested in the multi-cluster aspect because we're talking about distributing. And then I think from the initial paper, I requested access for a new paper. From the initial paper, it didn't really highlight much on the multi-cloud, multi-cluster aspect of the AI scheduling. And I feel like that is also one of the challenges because when it comes to multi-cluster and multi-cloud, there are different aspects and challenges. And from what we're seeing, the AI scheduling has really taken from a single cluster or more locale, now being even more distributed across sometimes even different regions. So that's what I hope to contribute to the paper, and that's what I would like to discuss if it should be even in the paper in the first place, right? So, yep, that's my quick intro, and I would pass it to my colleague Mohammed.
Yes, hi guys. I'm just interested to listen, see what is the could be current problems in scheduling the AI workload. And as Mike said, we are colleagues, so I'm also an open source software engineer working in Red Hat. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, maybe I can go next. Hello, everyone. I'm Ekin. I'm from the Kai scheduler team, but I'm actually originally as a background data scientist and ML engineer. So I read the paper, and I think there were some missing pieces in the AI use cases and how things work, how we call things, and what we need when it comes to running these workloads, what kind of specific do these workloads have. So I want to contribute from that point of view, together with my knowledge from the Kai scheduler team, so that we have a holistic view from very traditional AI workloads till agentic pipelines kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my goal to bring here. Who is not Abi here? Abi, go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Hello, folks. Nice to meet you all. This is Abhi or Abhishek. So I also lead the CNCF batch working group. I'm one of the co-chairs there. Um, I am also a Kubernetes committer. Um, for most of you folks, you don't know, but uh, kind of I was the lead developer for MCAD. MCAD was used to train flagship IBM Granite models. Most recently, I try to optimize AI inference workloads. I'm one of the SIG leads inside LLMD. I try to drive auto scaling while impacting LLMD scheduling. My contribution to the papers could be all over because I come both from AI training and inference realm. It could start from the scheduling fundamentals to challenges to infrastructure considerations to practical guidance, right? So should be pretty much all over the place, and happy to learn your perspective on this and also to add a little bit of my perspective to the paper. I don't know who's next, so whoever is next can go. Yeah.
I think that was everyone on this call. My connection's being terrible, so I may ask Rajas to take over as far as sharing. I'm noting in the structure we don't really have a use cases section, so I think Ekin is correct that we should probably add something regarding that. As far as the section, Rajas, do you want to share the new draft, and then we can go through the structure and see if there's any other sections we're missing?
Yeah, just give me a second. Let me just figure out what's going.
Yeah, no problem. Just if I do it, it's definitely going to cut out. Texas is being Texas. And if people would please put their emails they would prefer to be shared with in the uh, chat so that I can add you.
Okay. No, everyone should be able to see my screen.
Looks good.
I wonder if we should just add a section wherein we just, or maybe a tab wherein we would discuss about this meeting and then edit the paper. Would that be okay? There you go.
I think we can open a tab in this document. Maybe, yeah, try that. Yeah, maybe that might be the best.
All right, so I think one of the first things that we called out is we need the use cases section, right? And one of the things that I wanted to call out was that uh, we don't have the challenges mapped out. Yeah, I mean, I think we may want to revisit the challenges section and map them out to the practices that we are going to recommend. So we'll probably need a mapping of challenges to guidance. Um, is there anything specific that anyone wants to call out, or should we just like go through every section?
Let's maybe go through every section, because I've never seen this document before. Like, this is the new one, right? Maybe we can do a quick pass.
We don't have enough time to go through every section in this call. But what we could do is go through, like, I'm a little bit concerned because in this particular format, we don't have a difference between training and inference, and those are often different as far as needs. So I'm trying to figure out how to add that as well. I know the initial paper combined them as well.
I have a question about what you just said, Marlo.
Mm-hmm.
So my background was in physics, and then turned
Yep.
database guy, not a developer, not in the real sense, at least. So when it comes to batch versus non-batch, inference versus training, is there already cover anywhere on how to tell the difference? For example, in the AI gateway group discussion, there was a discussion: is there a need for separate AI gateway for training versus inference, right? So that's a so same thing here.
There,
So when we're how to
I think some of the problems are very similar, especially as we're starting to see a lot of inference become multi-node, but training is usually much larger, and will take many, many more nodes than an inference workload. So your interconnectivity is more important, and the types of schedulers that are used for that are different. I see Mike has a question or
Yes.
comment, something.
So not on this particular topic that you were discussing. So please. Okay.
Okay.
So going back to my intro, I'm more familiar with the multi-cluster scheduling aspect because that's what I work on as a developer. So I'm wondering, do we need to call that out in this paper or not? Because in multi-cluster AI workload scheduling, like the training might be differences, like they're concerned about like data locality and security, and then I briefly well briefly read the doc, and I see that cost optimization is not part of the things that we're going to cover in the paper, but there's still aspect of multi-cloud resources availability and how to serve the workload to clusters with resources, right? So I'm just wondering, like before I even make any suggestion to the paper at all, do we need to call that out? Do we need to call out the multi-cluster aspects and the multi-cloud aspects? What do y'all think?
Since
I think it's reason. Go ahead.
sorry, simply because I need to drop in a few minutes. So this actually continue on my question.
Yep.
So when it comes to multi cluster, why multi cluster is my question too. Like when you have an inference, usually I would think it's there's no need for batch. Same thing for training. Usually I think it's a batch. That's the kind of a stereotype, right? When same thing. When do you need multi cluster? If other than disaster recovery, is there any need? I guess that's my
It
follow-up.
it you can, especially when you're talking about different power costs or cluster utilization.
Yeah,
So
it's
sometimes,
exactly.
yeah,
It's resource availability. That's the main, because right now everyone's hurting for GPUs, right? I just so I had different clouds, and I see examples of different clouds that have available GPUs, and that's where they can do the AI training. And then when's out, some scheduler is able to switch out to another cloud. So that's where the multi-cloud, multi-cluster comes into play for AI scheduling. And
in general, inference is it's a quicker and usually a more uh, lower latency expectation as far as the result. And training is more of a longer running job. So that also changes where you want to run your workload because you want to be proximate to the inference request, but training matters less.
On the same topic, so the reason I bring that up is there's a concept called polymorphic computing, which means you can combine different kinds of hardware in the same hardware side on the storage and compute side, and maybe in the future it's possible to do the same on the Kubernetes side as well. In other words, for heterogeneous computing, you don't have to have a separate cluster. So
Yeah,
that's
there's work on that having to do with DRA and how they are doing definitions of the types of resources available. So for instance, the CPU DRA driver, we're trying to get other attributes around the CPUs available because you may not want to run your high performance job on your efficiency cores and vice versa. Um, so we need better resource definition and granularity before we can get a fully integrated system. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think the resource requests as well as the type of workload, mainly training or inference would define the scheduling needs, I guess, and that would ultimately lead to uh, in the context of multi-cluster. So yeah, I think the this different resources being considered for DRA, this, especially the CPU driver, can be another factor that we may want to consider over here in this paper.
So I don't know if we want to clearly define the unit of scheduling, right? When we say scheduling, is it a pod? Is it a task? Um, Maybe we should make that clear.
when it comes to scheduling, I know most of scheduling being discussed in the batch working group is task, my understanding at least. So, but each layer have their own scheduling, right? So for the operating system have their own scheduler and storage have a scheduler as well on the hardware side. So is there should there be even in scope to discuss like what scheduling means, just like Abhishek said, uh, when you schedule a job, what do they mean? What do they mean to the operating system, to the hardware? How do they schedule?
Right. I mean, um, defining that will change a little bit of perspective on the paper, right? So, I mean, as I said, I can speak more on the inference. Inference has latency concerns, and inference are requests, right? I mean, they are basically HTTP requests that you route to a pod consuming GPUs. They have SLO attached to it. They have a state attached to it. Um, so yeah, I mean there are differences, right? Scheduling a pod is there is a difference. There is a life cycle. Then scheduling like tasks that are embarrassingly parallel, there is a different life cycle, and for AI there is something different.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that's a scope change for sure. So just in case it's something of interest to more people, it could be a side topic.
Okay. Um, I mean, my question really is like, where do we, draw the line, right? Because I mean, it can get huge.
Uh,
Uh, yeah,
I think that's a fair question. I think what we do is we do what we can before KubeCon EU, and we just plan to release it by then because that makes it a short-term project. There's already been quite a bit of work put in prior. Um, so I think if we cap the time and just invite the community to participate, I think we have a defensible uh, scope, if that makes sense.
cool, cool.
Is
So
that
then,
fair? Yeah.
yeah, so I'm going by the title of the paper, like it says cloud native. So maybe, a realm in terms of what we define scheduling or whatnot should be maybe around the projects that are under cloud native umbrella, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, not going to OS level details or subroutine level details, and then not staying too higher level on like cluster details, right? So maybe just a
Yeah.
suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so I
should
think
probably
in
add, go ahead.
uh,
Sorry, Victor.
finish your thought, Malo. I can go next.
No, you're disappearing. Or you're not. Yeah, I'd like a couple more sections also making sure that we cover resource management because we're not really, I don't see a area that's specific to that on fine-grained resource control because that's a big deal in cloud native that isn't fully solved yet. We talk about topology awareness, et cetera, but we don't talk really about DRA and the types of ways you can solve this. So we should probably add that.
Yeah. Also, the point that I wanted to make what Abhishek said before is, I think the core is scheduling challenges for cloud native workloads. So, or cloud native or AI workloads on cloud native infrastructure. But it's important to define the unit of scheduling and then map it to the challenges. And I think that's one of the ways that we can start the paper. Then we would have a section for the the scope of the scheduling unit, and then map it to the challenges that we talk about. Then map the challenges to the guidance that we are trying to give as part of this white paper, and then that kind of becomes a gating function to you know have it like ready before EU, and then we can work with CNCF to release this. So I think that's the overall plan, as Malo also called out. Uh, cool. Yeah, Mike.
So based on what you just said, I feel like multi-cluster or multi-cloud is kind of out of scope because we're defining a unit of scheduling, right? Oh, and that unit, and then based on this whole paper right now, it's mostly talking about a single cluster. So I'm okay. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but I'm
I think
okay with
this is too big to add for.
yeah. Like I'm okay with we even call it out as out of scope even because I see multi-tenant concerns. It's is out of scope in the paper, but I would just like to at least mention it because a reader coming in here might be looking for a keyword like multi-cloud cluster. If we specify saying this is out of scope, at least we should mention it. Yeah, I agree. Okay, next speaker.
Yeah, we can call that out of scope multi-cluster for this one. Uh, Maybe there is a point to make if when we make the distinction between training and inference, but we can revisit that when we write that section. Um, Apart from this, do folks want to call out anything else?
So I'm sorry I keep hammering on this point. For the multi-cluster mentioning, instead of having one sentence in the out of scope, does it deserve having a section that's saying, hey, there are some different challenges for multi-cluster that can be a different thing, and then so it has a nice section to it, or it's one sentence suffice? Because I'm gonna go back with my team and try to come up with something to insert to the doc. I don't have strong opinion of either. I'm just wondering what the community consensus is. Yeah.
Maybe defining it in the beginning as we can define a scope in the beginning of the paper, and then define the things that are out of scope so that people read it with an expectation and
Yeah,
they're mentioned.
yeah, we can tie that to the unit of scheduling.
Thank you.
Does someone want to take that on as far as defining scope?
I can work on the unit of scheduling, and then obviously folks can add things.
That sounds good. Yeah, because if we have an aggressive timeline, we probably just want to get the work done and not waste a bunch of time chatting, which I think is part of what happened last time is there was a lot of meetings and a lot of work done.
Yep.
But
So
yeah.
yeah, that sounds good. So Abhishek, you're taking unit of scheduling. I think the other aspect that so the other two main themes that I see are the resource management aspect and the uh, distinction between training and inference. There's also mapping of challenges to guidance. I can take that one. Um, any takers for the resource management and
Yeah,
okay,
Marlo just
so
replied. I'm speaking
perfect,
in terms for resource management. I mean, she just like
perfect.
put the chat. Yeah.
Yep. Um,
Yeah. Who wants to do the mapping? And that might be a table.
yeah, I can do the mapping.
For training and
Uh,
inference, what exactly do we mean? Is it in the one in the life cycle part, or what did we mean with that? Can you remind me?
So we have
they're
a
saying,
section that says what makes AI workloads different, but training and inference workloads have different needs as far
Ah,
as their
okay, I can
resource
take that.
requirement.
Okay, I can take that one.
Okay. Yeah, it might just be going through the what makes AI workloads different and doing some gentle mapping there.
Yeah,
Because there's really three types, multi-node inference, single node inference, and training.
perfect. I think that would leave us to any of the use cases that we want to call out. And I think that this is like a good list to revisit the next time we meet and then discuss on the use cases. So we would have a definite agenda for next time. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
Looks good
Apart
to
from
me.
this, perfect. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to call out is like any other. Uh, okay, so we will notify TAG Workloads Foundation Slack channel with what we discussed today. But if any other comments, concerns, ideas, we can discuss async on Slack and also in our next meeting. But um, the point is, at least we'll have something for next meeting to go over our progress, and then we can take it from then on. So does that sound okay for a week's plan?
Yes. Can you add the timeline on here too? Um, as far as
Yeah.
we plan to release by KubeCon EU. This way everyone knows that there's active work.
Yeah, so I think from a rough timeline perspective, we would want to leave certain buffer before KubeCon EU. So if we are able to get this done by say end of Feb, that would be like a great milestone, I guess. And then that leaves us enough buffer to work with CNCF and actually publish this white paper. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. Cool. Um, all right. Any other thoughts, concerns, comments that folks want to bring up? Okay. So we reconvene in a week and go over this again. Thank you everyone for making it to this meeting.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
organizing.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.